Coronation Street's Daniel Osborne faces every parent's worst nightmare next week when he wakes up to find that his young son Bertie is missing. Later, as the repercussions play out, Daniel accidentally injures his father Ken Barlow during a tense showdown at number 1. It's a hellish week that threatens to have major consequences. The drama kicks off as Daniel gets drunk at his flat, passing out and leaving Bertie to fend for himself. Hungover and fueled by panic, Daniel races out onto the street to search for his son. But who has Bertie? And is he safe? Before Bertie's disappearance, things begin going wrong as Daniel nervously prepares to return to work, knowing that everyone has read the vile posts about him on social media. To cheer his dad up, Bertie gives him a gift for good luck, a best teacher mug. Sadly, any happiness Daniel feels from it is soon destroyed when Lily Platt bumps into him in the corridor and the mug breaks. Following the awful incident, Daniel decides to drown his sorrows at the Rovers, where Adam Barlow is forced to step in to save him from himself. However, as Daniel heads out to the precinct in a foul temper, he runs into Megan Walsh. Is Daniel capable of harming his twisted ex? If Daniel thought his week had already hit rock bottom, he is about to be unpleasantly surprised. Back at the flat, as Daniel scrolls through the latest posts from Truth Teller 2, Jody Ramsey accidentally makes a remark that exposes her as his online troll. Despite her flat-out denials, Daniel knows he's right, so he returns to the Rovers for more booze before heading home. Once there, poor Bertie asks for dinner, but is ignored as his dad passes out. That leads the vulnerable youngster to try to cook for himself with disastrous results, before wandering out into the street alone. When Daniel is woken up the next morning by a call from Bertie's school asking why he isn't there, he panics. As he hurries over to the Barlow house to look for his son, Daniel finds himself confronted by his loved ones, who are deeply concerned about his irresponsible parenting. They all call him out and corner him at number 1, reveals Rob Mallard, who plays Daniel. Daniel just feels trapped. He goes to lash out at Adam, and he catches Ken. It's always Ken that he seems to hurt. But the question remains, what has happened to missing Bertie? And when social services arrive on his doorstep, will Daniel have more uncomfortable questions to answer? Coronation Street unleashes 2 shocking incidents in Daniel's darkest chapter yet. The cobbles of Coronation Street have never been strangers to secrets, heartbreak, and sudden twists. But the latest chapter in Daniel Osborne's life pushes the drama into far darker territory than usual. What begins as emotional tension quickly spirals into a sequence of events that shake Weatherfield to its core, as 2 shocking incidents expose just how fragile Daniel's world has become. Daniel Osborne has always been a character defined by grief, intelligence, and emotional complexity. Ever since the loss of Sinead, his journey has been marked by attempts to rebuild, to find stability for himself and his son Bertie. But stability is a luxury rarely afforded in Weatherfield, and recent events suggest Daniel is once again being pulled into a storm he cannot control, a calm surface hiding rising tension. At first glance, Daniel's life appears to be slowly settling. He is focused on his responsibilities, trying to balance work, parenting, and the emotional weight he carries. However, beneath this calm surface, tension has been building for weeks. Subtle arguments, unspoken resentment, and a growing sense that Daniel is being watched or judged by those around him. Friends notice the shift before Daniel does. His reactions become sharper, his patience thinner, and his confidence begins to erode. It is not just stress. It feels like pressure from all directions, as if the walls of his life are slowly closing in, and then, without warning, the first incident strikes. Incident 1. A confrontation turns dangerous. It begins as a heated confrontation that could have remained verbal, but quickly escalates beyond anyone's expectations. Daniel finds himself face-to-face with someone from his past, a connection tied to unresolved emotions and buried resentment. What starts as a tense exchange of words soon transforms into a volatile situation that spills into the heart of Weatherfield. Voices rise. Accusations are thrown. Years of emotional baggage erupt in a matter of minutes. Witnesses later describe the scene as explosive, with Daniel appearing both defensive and deeply unsettled, as though he is fighting not just the person in front of him, but his own inner turmoil. The incident leaves more than just emotional scars. By the time it ends, reputations are damaged, Trust is broken, and Daniel is left questioning his own judgment. For a man already struggling with grief and responsibility, this confrontation becomes a turning point, one that signals his life is no longer under control. But worse is yet to come. The second shock, a disappearance that changes everything. If the first incident shakes Daniel emotionally, the second shakes him completely. In the days following the confrontation, Daniel is confronted with a situation no one saw coming. Someone close to him goes missing under deeply suspicious circumstances. The disappearance is sudden, unexplained, and immediately raises alarm bells across the street. At first, there is hope it is temporary, a misunderstanding, a voluntary absence, or a need for space. But as hours turn into days, concern turns into fear. Daniel finds himself at the center of questions he cannot answer, yet cannot escape. Where were they last seen? What was said before they vanished? Did Daniel miss a warning sign? These questions begin to haunt him. The pressure intensifies as authorities and residents begin piecing together fragmented clues. Daniel, already emotionally drained from the earlier confrontation, becomes both a worried participant and a reluctant suspect in a situation spiraling beyond his control. Daniel under scrutiny. What makes this storyline so gripping is not just the incidents themselves, but the psychological toll they take on Daniel. He is no stranger to tragedy, but this time feels different. This time he is not just reacting to events, he is being pulled into the center of them. Rumors begin circulating around the street. Some believe Daniel knows more than he is saying. Others think he is being unfairly targeted due to his past emotional volatility. The truth, however, remains unclear, buried beneath layers of confusion and miscommunication. Daniel's behavior becomes increasingly erratic, not out of guilt, but out of desperation. Sleep deprivation, anxiety, and fear begin to shape his decisions. Every knock on the door feels like an accusation. Every conversation feels like an interrogation. Even those closest to him begin to struggle with how to support him. Should they trust him completely, or is there something he is not revealing? Emotional fallout across Weatherfield. The impact of these events spreads far beyond Daniel himself. Coronation Street thrives on interconnected lives, and this storyline sends ripples through families and friendships alike. Supporters rally around Daniel, trying to keep him grounded as speculation grows. Others distance themselves, unsure of where the truth lies. The street becomes divided, not in open conflict, but in quiet suspicion. Meanwhile, the missing persons case grows more urgent, adding a sense of urgency and dread to every passing scene. Every new detail feels like a piece of a puzzle that refuses to form a clear picture. A character at breaking point at its heart, this storyline is not just about mystery or incident. It is about a man pushed to his emotional limits. Daniel Osborne has always been written as someone deeply affected by loss, but here, he is portrayed in a more raw and vulnerable state than ever before. He is not just reacting to external chaos. He is battling internal collapse. The fear of losing control again. The guilt of past decisions. The pressure of being a father while feeling emotionally unsteady himself. And yet, even in his darkest moments, there are glimpses of resilience. Daniel refuses to give up on finding answers. He refuses to walk away from responsibility, even when doing so might protect him from further pain. The road ahead. As Coronation Street continues to unfold this gripping chapter, viewers are left with more questions than answers. What truly happened during the confrontation? Where is the missing person? And what connection does their disappearance have to Daniel's past? And perhaps most importantly, will Daniel emerge from this stronger, or will this be the incident that finally breaks him? One thing is certain, Weatherfield will never be the same again. The Cobbles have witnessed countless dramas, but Daniel's current story stands out as one of the most emotionally charged and unpredictable yet. In a place where secrets never stay buried for long, the truth is coming, and when it arrives, it will change everything. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Coronation Street Scoop News Update.